What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing keep trade cut for Dynasty Fantasy Football. So what I've got is I've got this wheel of names right here. It's all, every single player in my top 200 fantasy football rankings right over here. So yeah, we're just gonna spin this wheel 3 times, and we're gonna, put the players in, and we're gonna see what we can do. I think we're gonna do about 5 or 6 of these. Hopefully, we get a couple of good ones. But overall, I think we just get started. If you guys like this concept, you guys should like and subscribe. But otherwise, I think that's about it. All right, the first player we're gonna get is Lad McConkey, Raishi Rice, and that is it. So let's put all 3 of these guys, Garrett Wilson, in, and we'll see what happens from here. All right, we have all 3 of these players right over here: Lad McConkey, Garrett Wilson, and Raishi Rice. Now, this is an interesting one. These guys are all pretty young. They had good seasons, except when they got injured. I think that there's a really easy keep for me here, and I think that he was the best receiver out of all 3 of these guys, especially down the stretch. And it might be an unpopular opinion, but out of all 3 of these, I'm keeping Lad McConkey. Just because, I mean, what he showed in that playoff game is really, shows how good he is and how he can just, take over a game when he gets open and when he gets good in a way that Garrett Wilson and Rashee Rice have not been able to do. And, overall, he's younger. He is the alpha #1 on his team. I mean, these 2 are too, but like now you have Xavier Worthy who's putting up good numbers, and then Garrett Wilson had Devontae Adams, and the Jets are in a way worse situation than the Chargers are in. And overall, I think it's an easy keep for Lad McConkey. Now, between these 2, overall, it's really tough because Rashee Rice also has the issue with his availability in terms of being an injured and being an idiot. We all know. But overall, I mean, Garrett Wilson is the more talented receiver, but he's on a way worse offense. And I think I'm still going to keep him over Rashee Rice just because with Rashee Rice, we have, too little knowledge of how much he's gonna play, how like if he's gonna stay out of trouble again. And I think overall Garrett Wilson is the safer option going forward. So that's my opinion on these 3. Keeping Lad McConkey, we're just gonna move him over here just so that we all remember what all is happening. Yep, keeping, trading, and cutting. And then now I think that we just need to let's move on to the next wheel spins. I see we have Chase Brown. Interesting start. Chuba Hubbard. Okay. Is Jordan Mason? We can work with that. So let's get these 3 on the wheel. All right, here we are. So now we have our 3 players here. And we're going to start with the obvious one. Even though I hate to say it, it is going to be a Jordan Mason cut. He's a backup. Even though he proved a lot that he was good in the 49ers, it's just, the Christian McCaffrey's the lead back. And most likely I see the Niners drafting a running back too. I don't think that Jordan Mason's just going to make the cut. But Chase Brown and Chuba Hubbard are very different prospects, but they're just the same age. Chuba Hubbard's on a lot worse of an offense than Chase Brown is. And overall, I don't think Chase Brown is, his job is as secure as Chuba Hubbard's is, because Jonathan Brooks looks like he's probably going to be out for the whole rest of the season and next season. So even though there's a lot of red flags with Chase Brown, I am keeping him over Chuba Hubbard. So I think that, it's tough to put Chuba Hubbard in a trade block because overall I feel like, especially with what he proved this year, and if the Panthers can get better, then, he could be pretty decent. But I just don't see it happening. So that's the keep trade cut from here. Let's do another one. Let's do some backups. Jalen Wright. I do like that. Keenan Allen, Jalen Wright. Oh, this could be good. Travis Etienne Jr. I like this list, so let's do this. Okay, we have the three of these guys in here: Jalen Wright, Keenan Allen, and Travis Etienne. So overall, let's. The thing is, Travis Etienne had an absolutely terrible season. Keenan Allen really picked it up towards the end, but he's getting older, and Jalen Wright is young and promising, second string running back. This is a tough one because I think that I know who I'm going to put in the keep category or the trade category, and I think it's going to be Keenan Allen just because he's older and he had a really good season this year. So I think like if you have Keenan Allen on your dynasty rosters, you should probably trade him for like hopefully you can probably get a third, maybe a second for him and load up on some younger talent because Keenan Allen is going to be in here for a little while longer. Maybe we could even get a late second from a contending team who might need Keenan Allen, especially if he comes back to LA. And then now it's really a matter of Travis Etienne versus Jalen Wright. One is a starter, but honestly, I don't see a starting job being there as much. But then you also have Jalen Wright, who looks a lot better. And Etienne is not necessarily the back that has the most, you know, the most injury free career. So that is why I am going to keep Jalen Wright and cut Travis Etienne because I think starting Travis Etienne is worse than having to stash Jalen Wright. Because if Etienne gets hurt, now that Mostert's gone, Wright's got a really good passage to go. Let's go back to the wheel. All right, David Njoku, old tight end. Shedeur Sanders. Njoku and Shedeur Sanders. Interesting. And George Kittle. Interesting. I think we're going to do this list. So let's go further and get the people. Okay, so we have a tight end heavy round and Shedeur Sanders. So let's get started. Overall, I think I know who also I'm going to put in the trade category. And it's not because I don't want him on my team. I think George Kittle's going to have to go in the trade category because he just had his best season in a long time. And, he's getting older up there in age, 35, 36. If you are a rebuilding team, I would be trading him. But if you are a contending team, I would be trading for him because, I think he's got one really good year left and then he's going to start falling off. But, Kittle's a really complete tight end. And if we're going best to worst, Kittle tops this list, I think, easily. But in order for keeping, trading, and cutting in Dynasty, I think that he's a perfect trade candidate. Get a lot of value for him, get younger talent. And then with that being said, it's going to be a keep for Shedeur and a cut for Njoku. Now, I know a lot of people say that Shedeur is not going to be an amazing player in the NFL, but when you have a quarterback who in this scenario, most dynasty leagues are dual quarterbacking or superflex, whatever you want to call it. And I think that if Shedeur has the starting job somewhere, which he probably is going to, then it's too much of a risk to keep a tight end over him. Quarterbacks have a lot more value in dynasty leagues, and Njoku is old and injury prone, and he's playing on an absolutely terrible roster. So overall, Njoku's still a good player, but I'd be cutting him, trading Kittle for some of the value, and keeping Shedeur Sanders for the future upside. It's time to move on to the last one. All right, Brock Purdy is the first one on the board. Cortland Sutton. Okay, we could do that. Emeka Egbuka. Let's get these three on the wheel. All right, here we go. And we have Brock Purdy, the Broncos wide receiver, Cortland Sutton, and who could be a future Broncos wide receiver in Emeka Egbuka. I think that the Broncos could definitely take him. And if that does, then Cortland Sutton's the easy cut. And either way, I still think he's the easy cut just because he's getting older. This is his first really good year of his career. Even though he had very high aspirations, he has not lived up to them as much. And do I trust Cortland Sutton in the future more than these two guys? I don't. Just because Brock Purdy's a quarterback. And, although Cortland Sutton may be better than him, I think Brock Purdy in the long run is going to be better than Sutton, especially because he's younger and a quarterback. However, he's not the best quarterback, which is why I am keeping Emeka Egbuka, because for me, age is very important. And am I going to risk giving away who could be a very good receiver in this league for a guy like Brock Purdy? I am not going to be doing that. If it was a better quarterback, like maybe on like the mid to high end of quarterbacks, kind of like you have, let's go to my rankings actually real quick. Like these guys, I would definitely take over Pat Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, and Bo Nix. I feel like Brock Purdy is just the cutoff where I wouldn't take my chance on a rookie over Brock Purdy. So here's the 5 of them. We got our first one, Lad McConkey over Garrett Wilson over Rasheed Rice, Chase Brown over Chuba Hubbard over Jordan Mason, and Jalen Wright over Keenan Allen over Travis Etienne, Shador Sanders over George Kittle over David Njoku, and Emeka Egbuka over Brock Purdy over Cortland Sutton. If you enjoyed this style of video and want me to do it maybe more specifically or, something different, let me know in the comments, let me know with likes, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later.